Well, they got complaints, we ain't got them out. You don't even know.
Call this May 22nd Jackson County Commission meeting to order. Have our roll call.
District 1, District 2,
Present.
District 3,
Present.
District 4.
Present.
We have a
Didn't know
quorum
how to
present. I'll lead our invocation. We'll have our pledge from Mr. Venom. Dear Lord, we thank you for allowing us to be here this evening to serve you and serve our community. We pray that you guide us in the decisions that we make tonight and the decisions that we make every day as we go about doing your work. Again, we thank you for our family, our friends, our community. We pray that you all give us all strength to do what is best and continue moving our community forward. In your name we pray, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item is approval of the agenda. We have 9 items on the agenda. Do we have any changes before we proceed? Okay, we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I will make that motion.
Motion, we have a second. Okay, motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Any opposed say no. We have no order presentations. No one has signed up to speak this evening. And we do not believe we have any minutes from our previous meetings. No old business, so we'll move on to new business. And the first item is a motion to approve and sign a resolution amending the previous resolution regarding the date change of the back-to-school sales tax holiday. You have a copy of that resolution in your packets. This has been discussed, I think, a couple times in the past. And the changes to this allow us, as I understand it, to whatever the state designates as the sales tax holiday will do the same. Is that your understanding, Ms. Bell? Do you review that one?
That's the way we left it last time.
Any questions or comments? All right, do we have a motion to approve the resolution?
I'll make the motion.
Motion and a second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? Okay, motion and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay. Next item, motion to approve the hiring review board recommendation for the vacant nutrition manager position. This position came open a few weeks back. It's been interviewed for. Again, this was presented at the previous work session. Do you have any comments on this? Questions or comments? Or a motion to proceed?
I'll make a motion to move forward with it.
Okay, motion to accept the recommendation. Have a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this, further discussion on this item? Motion and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Next item, a motion to approve the letters and resolution regarding the 5311 transportation contract for the Council on Aging. Again, you have this in the packets. This was something we presented last week again. And this is the resolution that's required for our transportation program, correct?
Right.
So are there any questions or comments on this item? Anything you'd like to say? All right, do we have a motion to authorize signature on these items?
Make the motion to approve.
Motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, say no. Okay. Motion to approve the hiring review board recommendation for the vacant HM2 position with Public Works. Again, we discussed this last week. Are there any further questions on this? And we have a recommendation, we have a motion to approve this recommendation.
I'll make that motion.
Motion, we have a second.
Second motion.
Any further questions? This leaves still, there's still 2 vacancy, is that correct? Based on the, okay. Okay, any other questions or comments? Motion and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Okay, next item regarding the 2019, is it 2019 or 2018?
2019 fiscal year.
Okay. 2019 resurfacing project, and I think you had some additional information, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead.
To continue last week's discussion, there are some pictures in your packet, so it might be best for us to start with that. And each page is front and back, but you'll see there's some detailed pictures of County Road 59, 42, and 16, which should follow the proposed federal project list that we looked at last week. 59's in the worst shape, followed by 42, which is, as you can see from the pictures, it's in a little better shape, but not too far behind 59. And then lastly, County Road 16. So what we had originally discussed is just remove and replace or overlay just hot mix pavement. So the typical of what has been done in years past for federal lake projects. And that was what that breakdown detail that we talked about and looked at last year. So those prices to do a size project, 2 mile roughly size project, is what those numbers reflect. Now, in our discussion last week, we also talked about other options as far as considering the facts that County Road 16 is not as deteriorated as the others, a treatment that we could do now, a more cost-efficient treatment that we could do now and prevent us from these costly numbers that we're seeing for the remove and replace options or overlay options like what's represented in this. So the next two estimates represent those other options. So on County Road 42, in addition to the remove and replace or overlay option that was initially introduced, there's also hot in place recycling. And the handout that's on the table kind of details some of that hot in place recycling. And we've seen some of it firsthand. It's a brand new spec, so it's never been done in this county. I don't know if it's ever been done in this state. To my knowledge, it has not. So, but what that process is everything's done on the roadway. It's reheated, it's scarified, the additives are incorporated into the mix. It's augered up, laid back down with a paving machine, and the roadway is essentially resurfaced all on site. So the dollars are represented to do that on County Road 42, and that's the estimate that you have in your packet. Now, one noteworthy thing is we're comparing apples to apples, sort of. On County Road 42, on this initial estimate we looked at, 1.7 miles cost us $609,000. With hot in place recycling, 6.35 miles cost us $800,000. And so there's some stipulations with a hot in place recycling. There needs to be at least 2 inches of asphalt present, which 42 and 16 both have, but not 59. And then also, we have a 75,000 square yard minimum to mobilize all the equipment it takes to do this type work. So
Which is $100.
we're looking at 5.5 plus. So, and then that fits well with 42 based on the project length. So that project, all that pavement that's out there now with this 84 rating starts at 72 and continues past the Fackler railroad tracks, all that, all the way around and terminates near County Road 39. So that all that pavement in the same, relatively same age would, would work well for a project for hot in place recycling. Okay, and lastly, County Road 16, which we discussed, it's the best out of the three and would likely qualify as a good candidate for microsurfacing. So there are some contractors close to us that I think we could take advantage of some really competitive prices. So you compare the options there, and what was originally proposed with hot mix pavement, you're looking at 2.3 miles would cost $805,000. But if you look at this microsurfacing, you're stretching on out 5.8 miles and $722,000. So less dollars and you get that entire project. So back in 2000, the entire 5.8 miles was resurfaced, just to give you some indication of how those costs of doing business have gone up. In 2000, that entire 5.8 mile project was done with our annual allotment. In today's dollars, we only get 2.3 miles instead of 5.8. So this gets us back to that original entire project length, and instead of doing a resurfacing project for 2.3 miles, we're able to cover almost 6 for
relatively close to the same dollars.
All of these would fall under the federal dollars?
There's a specification in place for all of these that have been approved by AlDOT, and to my knowledge, neither one of the two alternates have ever been done in this county. So it's pretty innovative.
Is
What do you
this-
mean never?
This is the
We've
one that
never
you went
done the
over to Georgia
higher.
with, Matthew? I know you said something about going over to Georgia,
Yeah.
you and Jonathan.
Is this the same thing?
Hot in place.
What about the grant source that was on this information here? We done any research?
I'm unaware of any grants that are available for anything such as that. We can check into that.
It mentions a grant.
There should be something, especially for the recycling.
Okay.
Everybody should be go green, there should be something there.
What's the total, dollars that we get, federal dollars?
133,000 annually, but it's a, you know, it's a running tabulation.
Do we have any dollars remaining?
We do,
Okay.
yeah.
And we can apply all of those dollars towards any of these documents,
We
correct?
can, yes, sir. We can afford all of them, basically.
Is this something that we need to make a decision tonight, or could be discussed further?
If you guys would like to consider it longer, I spoke with Ms. Manning, we can hold off a little bit. If you want to weigh these out and look into it further, we'll be okay with that in either way.
We did choose to go with this hot in place. It's something I'd really like to see, and we can get a lot more mileage out of it. County Road 59 has a lower score, but only 2 points from AlDOT grading, but, if it didn't roll back around to the 2020 dollars, how far do you think that rating would fall, and given the road condition and 2 more years of wear and tear on it?
Yeah, we could do some spot patching, you know, with our in-house options as far as hiring a contractor to do some spot patching to lend us along if we have to. Or, you know, some of those areas, as you can see from the photos, you know, it needs some attention now and some of that. So some of that we would just have to address and try to hold it together until a lot of factors come into that, like how severe a winter we're gonna have for two more, you know. A lot of factors come, but it's gonna deteriorate worse. No
This,
doubt.
this bridge would not be affected on 42? Would there be anything included in the document on that?
No, sir. Just it meets standards now. It would just be
It's the one right behind the Texaco.
the extra depth patching. You know, in all these projects, there's extra depth patching included in those. So we're gonna go in, part of the project would be in the worst areas. It would actually take a mill machine, remove some of the damaged areas, whether it be base failure, I'm sure, bad areas like that, and then extra depth material, hot mix material placed in those areas. So the worst areas would be packed, and then the surface treatment applied over the entire project.
Have you got any information on kind of what the life expectancy of this new things you're featuring here?
Yeah, they're saying, you know, 7 to 10 years, and then maybe a little less, but about the same for the micro. You know, and there's variables in there, you know, getting the right project.
Certain window time that you gotta work through.
Right, so it's the right treatment at the right time is essential. And before we, you know, fully pull the trigger on any of these, we would consult with the folks that put it in place to make sure we have the right roadway for this, for the right application. And say we have to go back and punt. If you guys select, hey, I want to do 42 and I want to do from 72 to County Road 39, if we have to say all bets are off, we're going back hot mix pavement, as long as you've all approved the limits, we can always shorten that. We just can't extend it. So we're picking a road and we're picking a direction, but I'm not going to tell you if they tell me these conditions are not optimal for this treatment, then I'm going to come back and say, okay,
So we go back to the original.
we go back to the drawing board.
Besides speaking to the contractors or the people that do it, have you spoke to anyone in our state or anywhere that's used it? That's on your level, it's an engineering?
I have, yeah. We went down this year to the county just north of Montgomery that escapes me right now. But they've done a lot of microsurfacing. That is their go-to pavement preservation. And we looked at a limestone mix, and we looked at a granite mix, and we looked at the performance of each, and then we looked at some lifespans and the conditions of what they had relative to the time it had been placed. Now the hot in place, we traveled to Georgia to see it go down in person, and it's actually some projects have just finished up again this year. Same thing, same in Georgia. So I've seen both the micro in place and then the hot in place going down.
Pretty tried and true method. I mean, been around since what, 94?
We've never done it, but that's everything, right? You know, this has been in Illinois.
Well, northern states right there have had it since 1990, according to that right there, and you know, but you getting a right smart more mileage if conditions. Is that right? Well,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they tout at least 30% savings, but you know, it's folks facing the same challenges we are. You've got a small piggy bank, and you got all this need, and it's so costly to put brand new mix out there that, you know, there's innovative options if you're you know willing to.
Everybody's looking for a money saving thing. That's why it's coming about.
I would imagine that the project would be a lot faster with that process too than trucking in and trucking out.
Would we want to put this on the 5th so that we can ask any further, or 6th, so we can ask any further questions that we may need?
I'd like to. I mean, Johnson's coming up with a lot of good information. We want to get the best that we can find for the community. County. That's all right with y'all.
That'll put us voting on the 12th.
Okay, is there any opposition to doing it that way? Okay, then we will place that on the agenda for the 6th. If you have any further questions, you can speak to Mr. Campbell between now and then. And then we'll discuss how we want to proceed on the 6th. All right. Next item's a motion to approve a hire review board recommendation for the vacant temporary position with Public Works. You have a recommendation in your packets. This was presented last week also. Do we have a motion to proceed?
I make the motion. Stay with it.
We have a motion, have a second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion? This will take care of all the temporaries for this time, is that correct?
We're still have 2 vacant positions currently.
Good, okay. Motion second. Any further questions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. Excuse me. Next item, motion to approve equipment surplus auction selection. Do you want to review these real quick, Mr. Campbell?
Yes, sir, thank you. This is basically a follow-up for our action we decided to take on surplusing equipment and purchasing trucks. So this is the surplusing equipment portion of that, and it's been all-inclusive of the 5 vehicles, I'm sorry, 5 pieces of equipment and 11 vehicles that we decided to auction, and we have solicited proposals from Ritchie Brothers and J.M. Wood, and the information you have in your packet is a result of that solicitation. So I'll start with J.M. Wood. Page 2 shows option A, which is $191,900 with a 7% commission rate. And so that compared with the Ritchie Brothers on page 2 is $220,713. And then the greater than number, 277.5, which anything above the 277.5 would be split 80-20. So between 227 and 277.5 would be considered their commission portion.
Questions or comments? You have any recommendations on this?
I'm for the bird in the hand, so the Ritchie Brothers, the 22713 over the 19019, less 7% commission. You know, if it auctioned for 19019, less 7% commission, you're at 178. And Ritchie Brothers is guaranteeing 22713. So you're talking about, you know, over $40,000 difference.
No brainer.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, do we have a motion on who to proceed with?
Motion to go with Ritchie Brothers.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Those opposed say no. Next item, I should approve the truck purchase request for the sanitation department. Can't recall, did we discuss this last week?
We did not discuss it last week due to an incident we had, but we discussed it in our budget hearing.
If you can go ahead and speak.
Presently, we have a 2013 Mack. It is a 16-yard, and we're trying to rotate these trucks out every 4 years now. So this is the year to rotate this smaller truck out. Two, our routes are getting heavier through the week. Not so many more people have moved into county, just more weight. So a lot of days we're working over extra. And the purchase of this truck, we bought it due to the bridge situation when we first purchased it. But we've replaced a lot of the bridges now, and not as limited to having to have a small truck to run these routes each day. So I'd like to request to purchase a 2018 Freightliner. And on the back, you have the NJPA quote there for the cost of the truck.
Any questions or comments on this? And we will be purchasing this out of the cash, correct?
Yeah, we'd pay cash for it.
And you said that you're having to work overtime right now?
There's several Mondays in a row now lately. We've had a couple guys go out and come back in, an hour or so later. Just the weights are getting a lot heavier. We're not into summer
The
yet.
time they drive it all the way back in and dump and then go back
And
out.
they go back out, yes ma'am. In summertime, when school's out, it even gets a lot heavier. So, one, it's time for this truck to be rotated out. Now, we won't sell this truck at this time. We'll make it a pickup truck and a spare truck for in case we have one go down or something, we can run this truck to keep the routes up and running.
Questions or comments? Do we have a motion on how to proceed?
Motion to purchase the
Motion and second, any further discussion? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The next item is a couple of boards that we have vacant. We have, we'll start with the first board, the DHR board. We had one vacancy come open on that, Bobby Pete, and they've not requested to continue to serve. And we have one person that has requested to be on the board, and you have that letter of Woodall in your packets. So at this time, we'll entertain or take any nominations to serve on the board.
I nominate Eric Woodall.
Okay, I have a nomination for Woodall. Is there any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Okay, if we have none, we'll entertain a motion to approve Mr. Woodall for the DHR board.
Okay, motion, okay.
Motion, we have a set. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? And this charge will begin immediately. A motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The 911 board, we have 3 vacancies, or 3 seats that have come up for reappointment. That appointment, I believe, is in July. So I'd like to go ahead and announce the vacancies on that board, or the appointments on those boards. Again, 3 positions, so anybody that is interested in serving on that board, be it those currently serving or anybody else, we'd like to keep this open until the end of June. Make that appointment at the last meeting in June if possible. So we'll receive applications at least until June the 23rd. And if we don't have enough applications by that time, we'll leave whatever seats open and continue to take applications. Any questions on that item? That concludes the items for our agenda this evening, so we'll move on to our reports. Chief Deputy, you have anything?
No.
Mr. Robbins?
No.
Ms. Stone? Mr. Campbell?
No, sir, thank you.
Mr. Arnold?
I want to just remind you guys that I'll be sending board equalization notices out on the 12th, June 12th. So you'll probably start hearing a lot of stuff about them. I'm going to give one to,
Will.
I went blank, Will. I told you I'd get you one, maybe y'all do the article. If I can give Gary one if you want to do something on it. I've got it to the Clarion and I'll try to get it to the North Jackson Progress too. But we'll send out on that new manual change, you know, the values, which it says in here. Everybody in the county could see anywhere, we're estimating from a 10 to 20% increase in their values, not their taxes, but their values. Of course, values relate to taxes.
And I think all the commissioners have a copy of that as well. That's a press release, is that correct?
Yeah.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Ms. Bell, do you know?
Just let them all know it wasn't brought on by the commission, right?
Well, we'll try and do that, but
That don't
Not
change,
his
Or
fault.
the revenue commissioner?
that don't change it, they still believe we did it.
That was way down south, wasn't it, Jeff?
I'll tell them all your fault, won't
I might put that in the press release that it was the commission's fault.
Yeah, you can do
No, I
that.
haven't had it off.
Press release, commission's fault.
Mr. Venable, do you have
No,
anything?
sir.
Mr. Sis? Ms. Gilbert?
June 12th, community meeting at Section,
And that is at
5:30.
the school,
at
correct?
school in the library right now.
Okay.
Now, if we were busting the library at the seams, he'd be glad to open up the gymnasium.
All right. June 12th in section school library.
5:30.
5:30. All right. Anything further? Okay. A couple of things. I think the Catfish Festival went well this weekend. Several folks kind of looked at the cabins,
Yes.
correct? We are doing some rentals out there. There's some more things we'll have to look at. Obviously, it is a business out there, and there's a lot of things that need to be done still further, I think, to support the business. So we'll be
We
talking
tossed
about
around a lot
more.
of ideas while we were there.
Yeah, that's good.
So you need me to make your list?
Sure. The building's coming along nicely out there. And hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we'll get some of these other items open. If you have any questions or comments or anything like that, Mr. Barnes can address, or I can try to address anything that's going on out there. Outside of that, we do, this coming next Monday is Memorial Day. Of course, we will be out, and we don't have a meeting next week as it's the 5th Monday. There is a Memorial Day program at Collins Intermediate School, beginning at 10:45 a.m. And I'd encourage everybody, if you're able to attend, to please attend that, to show support for the God and service, and also for our veterans. We have a lot of veterans that come to those, but it's good to see community members come out to those as well and show that support. So I encourage you, if you're able to attend that, please do. And with that, I think that concludes everything for this evening, and we'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion adjourned.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no.